Welcome to this structural video. In this structural video, we're gonna show you how to fabricate a fish. In this time, we're gonna show you a beautiful round fish, and we're gonna start by telling you what are the qualities that are gonna tell us how fresh the fish is. The first one, we wanna make sure that is the smell. All right? A smell of a fresh fish should not have a strong odor. It should taste like fresh sea. All right? In this case, this fish was actually pulled from the boat today, which is excellent, right? Now, the second one is we want to make sure that our eyes, all right, as you can see in here, are full, is not decolorated, and has not sunken. A third indication is the firmness of the flesh. All right? We want to make sure that once we press, it bounces back. Once we have a fish that has been stored for a long time, and you press it, and you can see the indentation without springing back, that's a bad indication that this fish is old. Another very important one is going to be the gills. As you can see in here, the gills cannot be any fresher. It's nice red brick color, all right? And it also doesn't have no smell like it's been standing. Finally, two things is the color of the fins, all right? And the scales. If the scale starts looking pale or kind of old, all right, or whitish, that means that this is not completely fresh, all right? Second of all, the fins. It's got to be nice and colorful, no discoloration, no broken fins is also important. If you notice in here, we were storing the fish on their eyes, but in here, we have a perforated pan, so the melted ice drips down, and the fish is not swimming in all water. Finally, how do we buy fish? Well, we can buy fish whole, meaning as it was caught, all the viscera are on, everything is on, just they pull it out of the boat and they serve it to you. The second one is the drawn. The drawn is exactly this one. The fish looks whole. It has its eyes, its gills, scales, but all the viscera, as you can see in here, has been removed. The second one is when we call a dress. In the dress fish, all the tails, all the fins, all right? All the fins have been removed, and the gills and the heads has been removed. Basically, what you have in here in a dressed fish will be this area with the flesh and the spine. Finally, we have the fillets. It's when they take the fillet and there is no bones. It can be served with skin or skin off. So what I'm going to show you today is how to dress the fish, all right? First of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an indentation or as a cut in my tail, all right? I don't want to cut all the way through and break my spinal cord, all right? Then I'm going to come and I'm going to do an incision right next to the head, all right? I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to cut using my dorsal fin as a guide, and I'm going to cut it in here, just a light cut, because this is when I'm going to identify all the vertebrae from the fish, all right? Using the tip only, I'm going to do this until I get all the way here. All right? You see? Now, lastly, I'm going to do the same from here. And now I'm ready to remove my first fillet. So I'm going to turn it this way. And as you can hear, I want to use the tip of my knife with a slight incline looking at its vertebrae, because I want to take all the meat from the bones. I also want to be careful not to leave any bones on my fillet. Now, in this round fish, we have a technique that is called up and over, meaning there's going to come a point with your vertebrae, all right, that you're going to have to go up and over to get to the second part. So you have to take your knife, go a little up, round, and over. And at this stage, this is what I'm doing. Up and over, up and over. And this is important if you do it nice and carefully. So that way, you can remove, as you can see, all the flesh without leaving it in the skirt. Over here, we have the rib cage where all the viscera is. So you want to be careful when you remove it. All right? So in here, we have our first fillet. We're going to show you later on, all right, how to remove the pin bones. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, all right? So as we mentioned, I'm going to come, cut. You can feel where the head ends and the fillet starts, all right? You want to go across in here, right? You're going to cut this end, and you're going to start identifying the vertebrae by going near the dorsal fin, all right? Using the tip of the knife only, because that way you will ensure that you are not taking too much of the meat and leaving it in the carcass instead of the fillet. When you hear that sound, that means that you're doing it correctly. I'm going to do up and over. But before I do that, I want to come in here and cut this area, as it's going to help me remove the fillet better. All right? So, as you can see, this fillet is almost out. Right now, I'm on the vertebrae or the rib cage. All right. And I'm doing this slow because I want you guys to see all the process. But once you get experience, this should be a 2-minute process, okay? Now, we have in here our 2 fillets. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you how to remove the gills. Why do I want to remove the gills? Well, you want to remove the gills because when you are doing a stock, all right, the gills will impart bitter flavors, all right? So what I'm doing is with my fingers, I'm separating the bone that is tied to the jaw. I'm exposing my gills, all right? I'm holding it, and I'm just removing them just like this, all right? You can see the freshness of this fish because looks like those gills, how beautiful they are. Now, this is not necessary, but in competition, all right, you want to remove the eye sockets. I come from the center, all right, and you can remove it. Why? Because it can potentially give cloudy stock. All right? And now I can use my whole fish, all right, for a stock. Now, let me show you how to remove the pin bones, how to finish dressing this, but before I want to clean my station a little more, okay? If I don't clean my station at this moment, once I separate the skin, all right, all these little scales that fell while I was filleting could be inside or near or on top of my fillet. And that could be an unnecessary crunchy element in our fish. Okay? So, first of all, something that I want to remove is any excess skin that was left over. If you touch, you're going to see in here some pin bones. So you want to come in here and remove them. Okay? Because this will be a very unpleasant for your guests, and this could be a choke hazard. All right? Remember from your Serve Safe class? I got one more to go. And now my fillet is ready. If I wanted to serve this fillet, all right, with skin on, I would have started by removing the scales. Can I do that now? Yes, I could, but I want to do it in a sink and with a small stroke, be removing the scales, all right? At this moment, what I want to show you is how to remove the skin to make it a nice skinless fillet. The first thing you want to do is you want to do a score a little bit in the tail, but without cutting completely the skin. This is going to be your hold, so where you can start filleting all the way there. So you want to start filleting. While you pull the skin, you're going to push your knife. All right? And as you can see how easy it was, we took all the skin, left very little flesh in there, and then there you have it. You have a beautiful fillet. If you want to go even further, you could come in here and remove these bloodlines from the fillet, because these bloodlines, all right, when you cook it, can impart kind of bitter flavors in our fillet. So we want to take them out very slowly and very carefully so you don't break the fillet or take a lot of meat from the fillet. All right? In another video, we are going to show you how to pan fry this fillet and how to saute our fillet with skin on to make sure that the skin is nice and crispy. So hope to see you soon.